Hi everybody and welcome to this stream. In the stream I'm going to practice a conference talk, and it's not only practicing, it's also recording the conference talk. I thought it would be nice if I just could stream it with you so I can get a little bit of feedback. If I think the recording is good and everything goes good, then I'll cut out that segment and send it to the conference. And if it isn't good, yeah, then I guess I'll have to record it again. But I thought it might be fun to watch me do this. Let's see if everything is okay here. Oh, I have Ahmad saying here that there are buffering problems. I hope that the stream works well for others. If not, let me know. Before heading into the talk itself, I'll show you what I have on my screen right now. This stream will be a little bit meta because, yeah, in a few moments I'll start my talk and start addressing you as if like the stream started. But let's share my screen and show you what I got. I'm going to explain a package of ours in this talk. I got GitHub open here. I got my keynote here. Off screen, I have some notes. Let me show it quickly to you. I have here a window. Let's see. I have a terminal which I can create a project real quick, and yeah, I think everything is okay. When doing a talk, I like to have like the minimal set of applications open. Do not disturb mode is on. So yeah, I think I'm ready for this. Working fine here, no problems. Nice frame, thanks all. Okay, I think, let me scroll this into the right position. Does full screen work here? Let's see, like that, okay. Okay, I think I got this. The example is open over here. We're also going to use a little bit of Rage, so I should have that open as well. And yeah, I think I'm ready to start doing this. The order of the windows, PHP Storm is here. Item can be here. Yeah, then keynote. Yeah, I guess we're ready to start. Okay, let me get a sip of my water. So again, if you're just joined, I'm going to practice my conference talk. So I got everything ready here. And after the talk, I sure would like to hear what you think of it. So let's start this practice run. And yeah, let's pretend we are starting now. I should start full screen also, like that. My slides ready. And then we are good. Okay, let me get myself in the right mental state here. Final things. Yeah, okay. Hi everybody, it's a pleasure to talk at this conference. Due to the big difference in time zones, I'm not talking live, but I've prepared this recording especially for you. We are going to talk in this talk about implementing lightweight concurrency in PHP. We're going to use a couple of functions that you'll not use every day. I'm Freek van der Herten. I'm a partner and a developer at a Belgian company called Spatie at the other side of the world. I'm active on Twitter. My handle is Freek Murze. I have a blog, freek.dev, where I talk about Laravel development and modern PHP. I've also created an uptime tracker called Oh Dear, and this one doesn't only monitor your homepage, but it will actually crawl your entire site, and if any of the pages are down, it can send you a notification. Together with my team, I've also created Flare, which is an exception tracker that is especially built for Laravel applications. Before diving into the wonderful world of concurrency in PHP, I want to say a few words about the open source efforts that my company Spatie makes. Currently, we have about 300 packages registered on Packagist. They have been downloaded now for 190 million times in total, and they are being downloaded 10 million times a month. So next month we'll hit that 200 million download mark, which I think is remarkable for a small team like ours. You can find our open source packages on our company website. We have a dedicated page for that, and I'm sure there's something there for your next project. Now, those packages, they are not entirely free. There's a special license on them called postcardware. It means that if any of our packages end up in your production environment, you are required by law to send us a postcard. And we get postcards from all over the world. And we share those postcards also on our site. We take a picture of them and we hang them on our virtual postcard wall, which you can also visit on our site. Now, there's a couple of things that we do more at Spatie. We also create digital courses. We have just created one for testing Laravel, and we also create digital products like Ray and Mail Coach. So head over to our website to check those out. Okay, with that out of the way, let's talk about concurrency in PHP. A little while ago, in one of our projects, we had to make some code run concurrently. So 2 pieces of code at the same time. And for that particular problem, we didn't have Laravel at our disposal because an easy way to let code run at the same time is just by using a job in Laravel. But let's imagine we don't have that at our disposal. We just have plain old PHP. Let's take a look at the options that are available of running code concurrently in PHP. There are a couple of existing solutions, and these solutions are already pretty good. Let's take a look at mPHP first. So this is how you would run a mapping operation in parallel. It's pretty simple, but there's still some things that aren't really DX friendly. I would say you have to wrap things here in a promise. We also have React PHP, which is also a very powerful package or framework, even because it's a collection of packages. And here you have to create a process. You have to start a loop, add things to the loop, and then you can run things concurrently, which is pretty nice. But I think if you only need to have like a small piece of code that runs concurrently, it's a bit of a setup. Now, if we take a look at Guzzle, you might not know this, but Guzzle is also able to run code concurrently. You have to create a couple of promises, and then you have a utility function to get all of the responses. And these requests, they all will get sent at the same moment. So it's not in serial, but it's really in parallel. And this works pretty nice, but of course Guzzle is meant for making HTTP requests and not for running arbitrarily PHP code. So we thought, we already have a couple of good options in PHP, but we think we can make it even more lightweight. And that's why we created a package for this. And this package is called Spatie Fork, and it basically is the most easy way to run code concurrently in PHP. So it's a lightweight solution There is no extension or special extension needed. It uses the process control and I think sockets extension, but those two extensions are available on most PHP distributions. It is very easy to use, and it is available in, or the source code is available in this repo on GitHub. Okay, I can talk about this a lot, but let's see it in action. And I'm going to take a sip of my water first. Now, it might also be nice to have a little bit of background music. So let's add a little bit of music here. Like that, just for the atmosphere. Okay, let's do it. We are going to the terminal and we are going to create a new project. So Laravel new fork demo is good, yeah. And it's a new Laravel application. So we have to wait until everything is pulled in, like that. I hope that the music is not too loud. I think I checked the levels first. Okay, let's go to this. So fork demo. And let's install Composer, require not Octane this time, but Spatie Fork. Cool. And later on, I'm also going to use a tool called Ray, and I'm already going to install that here. I'll talk about that later. Cool. Let's open up this project in PHP Storm. And it opens up on my other monitor. Cool. And because we're streaming, my computer is a little bit slower as usual. I think it's also because we're indexing stuff here. So hopefully it becomes a little bit better when the indexing is complete. I'm going to demo everything here using a command. So I'm going to make a command, test command, that we're just going to run to demo stuff. Commands, test command. We don't need this. We can name this test. And we can just remove all this cruft here. Okay, let's start using the fork package. But before actually using fork itself, let's create a helper function that will help me demonstrate this. So I'm going to add a function here, public function sleeper. It gets an amount of seconds. And then we're going to sleep that amount of seconds. And maybe display that as well. I slept, maybe let's use string interpolation here. Seconds, seconds, like that. Okay. Let's maybe try this out. So sleeper, we are going to sleep 3 seconds. And then the sleeper is going to sleep for 4 seconds. Let's try it out. And now we have to wait, of course, for 3 seconds. And now we have to wait for 4 seconds until this one gets there, like that. Maybe let's make it a little bit more clear by maybe adding the date here. Today time string to drive that point a little bit further. So 3 seconds later, and now at 06 we get I slept 4 seconds. Okay, let's try and make this run concurrently, so at the same time. So how you can do that with our package is fork new, run, and then you just give it a couple of callables like that. And let's, I'm going to type it again. Let's do this sleeper 3 like that. This sleeper 4, and just for giggles, let's do this sleeper 5 as well. Why is it complaining? Probably because of the PHP version in Composer.json. Yeah, let's remove this. Go back to the test command. All good. And let's run this again. And now with any luck, there's only a second between 3 and 4 here. And yeah, you can see that these things are running concurrently. And the only thing that we have to do is just do fork new and give it the callables. That's, I think, a pretty nice way of running things concurrently. But now, how do you think that this runs behind the scenes? What did we need to do to make things run concurrently? Well, in PHP there are a couple of interesting functions that allows for this behavior. And I'm going to start all over and create like a lightweight implementation of this so you can see how it works. I'm also going to make the volume in my headphones a little bit lower because it's a little bit distracting for me. Hold on. That's much better. Okay, let's start doing this. So, for this demonstration, I'm going to use a tool called Ray. Let me show it to you. Ray is a little desktop application that can be used to send debugging output to. Let me show it to you. So let's do Ray Hi World. And instead of dumping stuff or doing DD, you use the Ray function. And if we execute this now, you can see that we see Hi World here. Of course, you can also make it as long as you want to. You can add more stuff here. I could maybe add like the datetime string here again. Let's do that again. And then you can see that more stuff is added. What you can also do is take a new screen here so that you only see the things that were in like the last iteration. And that is pretty handy, I think. Okay, let's now start using Ray in our demo. So imagine that you have a variable. Let's name it process ID. We're going to set this to 0. Now let's create an if statement for that process ID. And maybe we are going to add or send true to Ray if the process ID is something, and we're going to give it a little green color so that this will be colored a little bit. And if it isn't, we are going to send false, and we are going to make it red. So let's execute this and see what happens. And of course, we get false here. Let me always get a new screen here so we only get the last output. Excuse me. So yeah, it's false. How can we get this to green? Yeah, we can just do a truth value here, and then it's green. I've got something in my throat, so I should sip for my water again. Now, you may think this is not that special, but let's think about this a little bit. Is there a way that we can get green and red at the same time? Is there a way to do this? And in normal circumstances, no, you wouldn't do this. This would be very strange, right? But there's actually a function in PHP that allows you to do this. It's called process control fork. And we get a red squiggly line here. It says that an extension is missing in composer.json. This is one of the extensions that's necessary for the magic that you're about to see. You need to have this extension, but it's available on most PHP platforms or environments. What this will do is that it will actually fork the process. So here in this part of the code, we have one process, but here the process will be split into a parent and a child process. And what it will return is the process ID. And if you're the parent, then process ID will be filled with a certain ID. And if you're the child process, then the process ID will be 0. So this will be executed twice, but at the same time, and in one iteration process ID will be 0, and in one it will be non-zero. So it might feel very strange, but let's test it out and see what happens. So yeah, we're executing both things at the same time. Isn't that strange? And this function is actually what is being used inside of our package. Let's see. Let's check my notes on what I should say next about this. Let's maybe drive the point a little bit home that we're really executing things twice. If we say, if we check how much time or how many times this piece of code is being run. So I'm going to send end to Ray in blue. And yeah, you can see that the end is being executed twice here. Okay, I'm going to start calling this the child process, and I'm going to call this the parent process, because that's what it is behind the scenes. Okay, let's now imagine that the parent wants to wait until the child is done. How would we do that? And you can't just do nothing, because let me show you what happens if we sleep here. Then yeah, you'll see that our child, it ended last, but this true here came from the parent, so the parent stopped first. Let's see how we can check if the child ended, and I'm going to paste a snippet from my notes here. There's a function called process control wait process ID. It takes a process ID, and it's one of those special kind of PHP functions where you give it you need to give it a variable where it operates on. It gets two special flags, and I'm going to explain this one. This one says that while when you execute this function and the process is still busy, you shouldn't wait here for it to finish. We just want to have like the result back. If I wouldn't pass this flag here, then this function would wait here until the child is done. But we don't want that, because we don't want to stall the process. Okay, let's do if... Oh no, wait, I'm wrong. I should do it here, of course. Let me check my notes. Yeah, so while it isn't finished, and we're going to give it process ID, we are going to sleep here. So we're going to sleep in the parent, and let's make that clear, sleeping in parent, like that. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, let's run this. So we're the parent, we're sleeping in the parent now, sleeping in the parent. And we're still sleeping in the parent. There's something going wrong here. So I need to stop that. And I have no way of stopping this, I think. Ah, yeah, I could stop it like that. Ah, okay, I'm still doing it wrong here. So if process ID is 0, then that is the child. So the child parent thing was going wrong. Let's do it again. So parents, sleeping in the parent, sleeping in the parent, sleeping in the parent. Child. Oh, still sleeping in the parent. Let's see what's going wrong here. So I'm doing the fork here. Process ID should be 0. We're sleeping here. I think I should also exit out here, because after this I don't want the child to do anything anymore. So I don't need this else anymore. So from here on we're the parent. And if we're not finished, we are going to sleep. Yeah, I think that should be it. Let's try it out. Sleeping in the parent, child, still sleeping in the parent. Ah yeah, and now we are done. So we are done sleeping in the parent was done. Or the child was done. But it's still strange that we slept 2 times here. Is that some kind of racy condition? Wait, I'm going to make it a little bit more clear. So child is done. Waiting for child to finish, like that. And then we're ending. Yeah, let's try that again, and hopefully that is more clear. And let's make this red, so you know that that comes from the parent, and at this stage this is also the parent. Okay, let's try it. Waiting for the child to finish, waiting for the child to finish. Child is done. And yeah, we're at the end here. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to make this one parent is ended. Now it says true in a small bug that was meanwhile finished, but let's do it one more time so we get like the right output here. I hope you don't mind me toying around a little bit with this. And yeah, this is the output that I expected. So right now we have this little function that is executed concurrently while the parent is waiting for that to finish. Now there's one missing piece. We're now waiting for that child, but we can't actually right now see any of the results that the child might have calculated for us that we need in the parent. We need some way of communicating between the child and the parent. So let's discuss on how a child process can give stuff to the parent process. And you can't just add a variable here and try to use it here, because it will be 2 separate executions. You can't just write something in this script here and expect it to be here, because it's another execution entirely. So how do we communicate between parents and childs? Well, that's done via sockets in a Unix operating system, and PHP has a function for that as well. Socket create pair, and what this gives back to you is an array with 2 items in it, and it's a socket to the parent and a socket to the child. Now I have red squiggly lines here. Let's take a look, and we need another extension sockets. So let's add that to remove that red line here. And that extension is also available on most PHP installations. Now you should do this before you fork the process. Like that. Now, what you can do with these things is you can write stuff into one socket, in the socket to the child, And when you read it from another socket, the information that you wrote to it will come out of it. Now in the child process, we don't need to socket to the child because we are in fact the child. So you can close that socket. It's socket close, yeah. And here we can close out that socket. And in the parent, socket close, we can close the socket to the parent. Okay, so we have our two sockets set up. Now we should write something in the socket here. And writing something to a socket is with socket write. To which socket do you want to write? We are the child process, so we want to write to the parent process. Like that. And let's do result from the child here. Like that. And let's read something from the child here. And you can do that with socket read, like that. And here we are going to read from socket to the child. And here we should also specify a length. So I'm only writing stuff here at the end of my process, but you can even write things to that socket while the child is still running. So you can stream results from a child to a parent. So I got the result here, like that, of course, like this. And maybe let's display the result here as well. Result. This is from the child, like that. And with any luck, this should all work. Let's make a little bit of room. So we created our sockets, we forked our process, we wrote something to the socket, we're waiting for the child, we're reading the socket with the information of the child process, and we're displaying it. Okay, let's do it all. So let's test it out. Waiting for the child to finish, waiting for the child to finish. Child is done, parent is ending. This is from the child, the result from the child. So we were successful in writing something from the child to the parent. And basically these functions, process control fork, socket create pair, process control wait, these are the functions that are used in the fork package. Now I'm not going to go over the entire fork package in the interest of time, but I did want to show you that those functions are being used here. So if I hunt down process control here, you can see that we first check for its existence. But you can see that we use it here to fork the process. If you want to check if we're currently in child, we do that process ID check. We have a wrapper around creating sockets here. So yeah, these functions are really the ones that drive our fork package. And yeah, that is, I think, the demo that I had prepared for you. Maybe let's also go to the repository on GitHub, so you can see we have a nice little example here. And the package can actually do a little bit more. We have here functions that can be defined that will be executed before every child function will be run. This can be handy for preparing database connections. And I think one more that I want to highlight is that you can configure concurrency as well. So you can give as many callables as you want, and you can say, hey, you can only run two at the same time here. So when the first and the second one will be run immediately, and when one of these two finishes, then we will execute the third one. So yeah, I think this is a pretty nice package to do this in PHP. Let's go back to the slides here. And yeah, there is nothing left for me anymore than to say thank you and give you these interesting links. If you want to check out the package yourself, go over to GitHub to Spatie Fork. My colleague Brent, who was the original author of this package, he wrote a nice blog post on the internals as well. On my own blog, I also have a nice demo prepared, and if you want to see that or if you want to know more about that Ray application that you saw me use here, go over to myray.app. I only used its logging capabilities here, but it can actually do a whole lot more for debugging your app. So that is everything that I have for you. I hope that you liked it. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, that was the talk itself. Let's see if any of you have comments here to see if I can improve it. But it seems that there isn't any feedback now. Oh, the music is a little bit loud. That is... I'll try. Yeah, then I'll have to maybe record another version where the music is a little bit less loud. Okay, but that is what I had for you. I hope that you liked it, and I'll see you another time. Bye bye, and thanks for watching.